Hello and welcome to the Daily Red, your mid-afternoon catch-up on all things Liverpool FC, and your daily reminder that the Reds are Premier League champions and looking set to add their second edition of the summer. It looks like the Milos Kerkez deal is about to come to conclusion. He has been left out of the Hungarian team to play tonight, I think it is, and there is a private jet scheduled to go from Budapest to Liverpool, which, according to the plane tracking experts that we all follow on social media, is exactly the type of jet we would use for this type of thing. So Kerkez may be flying in for a medical, which you'd imagine would take place then tomorrow, and hopefully we get the confirmation that this deal is done. Then it will be all systems go on Florian Wirtz, who's obviously with the German national team at the moment, played last night, scored last night, came in for some criticism in the German press, largely the Bayern-influenced German press, who are obviously a little bit upset that the star boy turned down Bayern to pick Liverpool. I would also imagine there might be a little bit of Adidas asking for things to be slow-rolled a little bit, because Adidas have just unveiled the new German kits, which are absolutely phenomenal, by the way. If you haven't seen the new Germany kit, it might be the most beautiful jersey ever. It is absolutely stunning. It's a throwback to the Beckenbauer era of kit. It is a sensation. And Adidas, this is a big deal for them, obviously, because they're the long-time supplier of the German national team. But to bring this kit out is a big deal, and they might want all focus being on it rather than on a £100 million move for Germany's star player. I'm not saying that is the reason, but it wouldn't surprise me if terms were already agreed with Leverkusen and it was just being slow rolled out a little bit while the national team are playing and while this kit is being launched, because obviously Adidas are our new kit suppliers as well. So they have a vested interest in multiple facets of this. Back to Kerkez. So 21, turns 22 in November, already has 2 seasons in the Premier League under his belt, as well as a full season with AZ Alkmaar. So three seasons at a decent or above level. 158 total games under his belt. That does include 9 for the AZ Alkmaar second team. He began his career in the 2021 season playing for Győr, I think is the correct pronunciation, in the second division in Hungary. Played 18 games total that year, was spotted by AC Milan, who at the time had Paolo Maldini as their sporting director, who's a pretty good judge of left backs himself. Now, they did have Theo Hernandez, but I think their thought process at the time with Theo was, we've got him, he's developing, we think he's going to be a star, and we think we're going to sell him in a year or two at a very high price. And stylistically, Kerkez and Theo are very, very similar. Theo's a bit of a better dribbler, but stylistically, they're very, very similar. So Theo was 24. Was it 20? Yeah, 2021 when he moved to Milan. Theo was 24, and they were probably thinking, we'll cash in on him in a year or two, and we'll have our left back. Obviously, it didn't work out that way. Kerkez didn't seem to settle with Milan and moved on, went to AZ Alkmaar a year after signing. Did really well there, like was absolutely outstanding there. And then Bournemouth snapped him up. And I wanted us to sign him when Bournemouth got him, because I thought this could be a guy, because at the time, 2023, we weren't thinking Jurgen's leaving in a year. You know, he got 3 years left in his contract. It was very clear that Robbo had come to the end of the road. But I remember talking about this on a transfer committee pod, and we were talking about, we're going to need to replace Robbo. Jurgen's loyal to a fault, obviously. So he wasn't just going to bomb Robbo out. So my thought process was, if we could get Kerkez in, develop him for a year behind Robbo, move Costas out. We probably could have gotten about 15 million for Costas at that point. Kerkez cost 15 million. So you would have been at a zero cost there. And you develop him for a year, and then he just takes the starting spot from Robbo. And stylistically, he was the perfect Robbo replacement under Klopp. I am curious to see how Arne will use him. Obviously, last season we saw Robbo play a bit more of a reserved role. Now, whether that was to preserve him because of his age, because of the fact that his legs are going, whether it was a tactical thing, whether it was a mixture of both, remains to be seen. But I think with Kerkez, you can't really tether him at all. You have to give him freedom to get forward. If you want to get the best out of him, that's how you have to use him. And obviously, we've got Bradley at right back. We've brought in Frimpong. Trent is gone. That's very, very attacking fullbacks. It's not necessarily a blend that works because they're both very high-intensity runners, rather than the Trent-Robbo combination, which worked so well, where you have a playmaker and an overlapper. And if you look at Newcastle, they've got the opposite of it, where their playmaker and Lewis Hall is at left back and Livramento is the overlapper at right back. That's a combination you see a lot, where it's either a defensive fullback and an attacking fullback, or kind of a playmaking fullback and an overlapper. We're going to have two overlapping high energy, high intensity sprinters. So it will be interesting to see how Arne uses them. We assume he'll continue to use the base formation, back four, double pivot, one in front, two wingers and a striker, which Arne calls a 4-3-3 because it's three midfielders. But on paper, it's a 4-2-3-1 because of how they line up. We know that Wirtz is coming in. We know Salah's going to start. We don't know who the number 9 will be. You'd imagine Szoboszlai stays in the team because of what he offers on and off the ball. McAllister will be in the team. Virgil and Ibu will be in the team. 6 remains a question mark. But I wonder if we might see, in possession, a situation where the 2 centre-backs stay in their normal area. The double pivot stays ahead of them. Wirtz starts from the left but comes infield to form almost a central 2 with Dom. So the midfield goes from a 2 and a 1 to a box. The fullbacks become wingers and Mo becomes a more central player. And in possession, we play more of a 2-2-4-2. You'd have your natural width. All 3 fullbacks, be it Frimpong, Bradley or Kerkez, all of them are more than willing to sprint back. The issue with Trent was always that he wouldn't sprint back. Frimpong's not a good defender, but he will run back as quickly as he can. Bradley will get back as quickly as he can. Kerkez gets back as quickly as he can. So against transition, you've got the pace to deal with it, similar to what PSG have. You watch PSG play, and those fullbacks play very high and wide. Ours could do similar, stretch the opposition vertically as well as horizontally, with Mo able to run in behind. You have some control then in that midfield area with a 4-man box. You do leave yourself a little bit exposed with just playing 2 central defenders and not a ton of protection in front of them. But under Jurgen, when we were unbelievable from 2018 to 2020, we did often just defend with a box 4, which would be Joel or Joe plus Virgil, plus Fab, plus Ginny. So that defensive structure has worked for us in the past, and Trent would play high and wide on the right, Rob would play high and wide on the left. Henderson would play sort of in behind the forwards. Now, it was a little bit different in that, well, Bobby would float and drop in, but Mo and Mane wouldn't be really central. They'd still stay in their channels. But the defensive structure was similar to what I think we might do next season. The big difference is Fabinho, obviously a specialist defensive midfielder and an outstanding one at that. And then with Ginny, he was just so freakishly athletic and he was so clever that he was like a transition killer. We never got counterattacked against when Fab and Ginny were in there. Never. Just didn't happen. Between Fabinho's willingness and, at times, desire to commit a nice foul, and Ginny's pace, anticipation, incredible strength, and ability to just get in the way of people, we just couldn't be counted on. And Robbo would always sprint back. Always. Trent might not, but Robbo always would. The difference in this midfield to that midfield would be whether it's Gravenberch or somebody that comes in, it's unlikely to be a Fabinho type of defensive midfielder. There just really isn't one out there. I mean, Barrenetxea could work in that role and work brilliantly. He's an outstanding player, but he hasn't been linked to us. I think he'd be a great signing if we didn't want to go the Wharton route. But if it is Wharton, I mean, he's good defensively, but he's not Fabinho level defensively. Alexis is every bit as clever as Ginny and reads the game every bit as good as Ginny, but he doesn't have Ginny's athleticism. So you lose out defensively with that midfield compared to the old midfield, but you do get a better level on the ball if it's someone like a Wharton. Now, Fab was really good on the ball, and as a passer, levels above Gravenberch. But Gravenberch's a much better ball carrier than Fab. So you do get kind of a trade-off there. Alexis is better on the ball than Ginny. But more to the point, Szoboszlai is a lot better on the ball than Henderson. And Wirtz adds a new level to this team in terms of on-ball creativity. Even if we compare him to Bobby, Wirtz is a lot better in terms of playmaking than Bobby. And Bobby had genius levels. But Florian Wirtz potentially becomes the best playmaker in the world in a year or two. Like, this is a genuinely special player. I think he's probably already top 10 in the world. I think he's got real Ballon d'Or potential.
Reds, it's Jack here, and that was a clip from one of Anfield Index's audio podcasts. If you have enjoyed the video, make sure you do like, share and subscribe to keep up to date on all things LFC. We record around 100 audio podcasts every month, with our shows featuring match-going fans, top journalists, professional analysts and even Liverpool legends along the way, with the great Dane himself, Jan Molby, joining us every single week. If you want to listen to all our podcasts for free, head over to anfieldindex.com/podcasts. Our audio shows are available wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Anfield Index. Or if you prefer to listen to all our podcasts in full and without any ads, why not head over to AI Pro today to check it out now at AnfieldIndexPro.com. If you want to get involved in the great growing community of Liverpool fans, check out the Anfield Index Discord. The link is in the description. Do get involved with that, from Reds around every corner of the globe. For now, Reds, hope you enjoyed this video.